going on, guys? I'm Roar Alexander, men's over 40 body transformation coach and host of Barbells To Buddhas, which is the official place for men who want to live leaner, stronger, longer, and a hell of a lot better into your 40s and beyond. And what does that mean? That's exercising smarter, not harder, enjoying exotic and delicious foods while, of course, staying lean and strong, doing fun and exciting adventurous shit, traveling the world, making more money, new friends, new social connections, and maybe just discovering a new passion or two that's going to fire you up to never hit that snooze button again, jump out of bed in the morning, crush all your goals in every area of your life that's important to you, and make all those a reality. And if that sounds good to you, then welcome, my friends, to Barbells To Buddhas. So today's episode is something that I get asked a lot, and that is, what is the best exercise when I want to lose fat? Or other versions are, do I need to do cardio? Somebody the other day asked me, like, how much cardio do I need to do? Do I need to do weights? Do I need to do body weight? Do I need to do sprints? Do I need to do CrossFit? So many people have so many questions. And I said, you know what? This will probably make a really good topic. And I'll tell you what I have my clients do with 100% success, because there's just some basic principles. Now, I do want to preference this, that I'm going to be talking about body transformation. And body transformation is not the same thing as losing weight. Now, before we go on, I do want to apologize if you guys hear some kids screaming. We have lots of neighbor kids upstairs, and my son is out playing in the backyard right now. So I expect 100% at some point during this live video to be interrupted. So that is just going to happen. But anyways, getting back to it, body transformation. And body transformation is really, it's really simply, guys, it's two things. That's it. It is building or maintaining muscle, depending on where you at in your journey. And we're not going to get into all the details. And losing fat, not losing weight. So I'm not talking about just losing weight, because losing weight and losing fat are two very different things. Now, sometimes, including in my 21-day kickstart, which is starting in June, actually June the 10th is going to be my next 21-day kickstart, I do help clients move numbers on the scales. And I've had clients lose up to 20 pounds in those 21 days. So you can lose some good weight, but as I tell them right at the beginning, understand that is not all fat loss. There's a lot of water weight in there, mostly water weight. But at the end of the day, guys, that is a great way to get you fired up. When you see that you've been trying to lose just any numbers on the scale, and all of a sudden within 21 days you're losing 5, 7, 11, even up to 20 pounds, that is going to fire you up to keep going. Because guys, when it comes down to it, body transformation is physiological, but it's also a psychological. So if you do a 21-day kickstart and you lose 1 pound in 21 days, you're not going to be fired up, regardless of how well, how healthy, how by the book, whatever you want to call it, we do it. And I'm not saying I do anything crazy and weird. It's actually quite a healthy way we go about it. But what I do does give people some big numbers. But we'll talk about that another time. But anyway, that is coming up June the 10th, if you're interested. But let's talk about that question. What kind of exercise do I need to lose weight? Or I'm going to reframe as, what kind of exercise do I need to transform my body? Well, the first thing I'm going to preference this is that weight loss is made in the kitchen. You want to be in a mild caloric reduction. And there's two ways to get in a caloric reduction. That's it. You can eat less. And when I say that, I don't mean eat less food. Okay, 'cause lots of times when I'm with my coaching clients, they are shocked at how much food I have them eating. They're like, I can't even eat this much. There's more food than I eat. I'm like, no, well, you're correct. It is more food than you normally eat, but it's less calories than you normally eat. So we are going to make sure that we're eating less calories, and we're going to make, or we can increase our activity. So we are going to, basically use more calories. And that's the way I go. If you said to me, listen, you go two ways. We could do a little bit of extra activity, or exercise, whatever you want to call it. We'll talk about the differences there, by the way. And eat maybe 300 or 250 calories a day less. Or you could not move as much, not exercise as much, and you have to eat 500 or 600 calories a day less. I'm going to take part A. I can say, you know what? Give me that extra little bit of activity, and I will be more than happy to be able to eat the extra calories. So number one, guys, is going to be a caloric deficit created through either eating less calories or moving more. So I want to just preference that. So the next thing I go is I say, okay, well, we want to make sure that we are weight training, resistance training, even let's call it. We're doing something to place an outside or emphasis on our muscles. And that's going to be on your leg muscles, and we divide that up. Your chest muscles, your shoulder muscles, your arm muscles, etc., etc. Now, I've had clients lose. The client that I told you that lost 20 pounds in 21 days, it was all body weight at home. So I'm not saying it has to be gym, but eventually the gym steps in. He did end up getting a gym membership. Because weight training, guys, is when you see somebody who's muscular, that's not just fat loss. You need to build muscle. If you want to actually transform your body and look like those fit guys, look like a Men's Health model, look like, I don't know, any actor you see where you're like, hey, he's in great shape, that is through weight training, resistance training. So resistance training is going to be number one. And let's dive into that. Because again, just me telling you go do weights, it's not helpful. Like, what does that mean? Like how many days, what kind of training, all that, etc. So this is what I tell my clients. When you are trying to lose weight, and the more weight you have to lose, this is how it goes. If I have a client that's like 300 pounds and he wants to lose 150 pounds, this works every time. I go, just get them moving in the gym. Have them just move. I don't get into doing a bunch of bicep curls and tricep extensions and tiny, small isolation movements. So guys, there's two kinds of movements you can do in the gym, right? There's compound movements, which is like, let's say, for instance, like a big bench press, right? So you're moving all this, you got the chest going, the shoulders, the triceps, and then you got like say wrist curls. Which one do you think is going to, use more calories at the end of the day? Which one's going to use more energy? Well, it's going to be the big compound movements. And those are also going to allow you to move a lot more weight. So you're going to get more response. You're going to get more muscle damage. So we definitely want to be weight training primarily, especially if it's, if it's kind of like we're going for some massive weight loss, like we're not talking about, shaping and tweaking our body yet. We do that when we get lean, right? When we get lean to that like 20% under body fat, then we can start to switch things up a bit. So it's going to be your big compound movements. And the more weight you have to lose, the more fat you have to lose, the bigger the workout. So I've had clients that have to lose 100 plus pounds. I just have them doing sled work, for instance. I load up a heavy sled, 300, 400, 500 pounds. And I just have them walk and push that thing around. And, like, you ever seen the, that first Conan movie? How'd he get big, right? He was on that wheel walking around. He was just holding that thing and he's just walking. There, that's a sled. So I just give them the Conan workout. I'm like, you're just going to push this sled for the next few weeks. Obviously, we do more stuff than that because they're not just paying me to go on a sled. But you get the idea, right? But going back to, the beginning, let's get off the sled thing. Compound movements and focusing on total body workouts primarily. And again, this comes down to like we want to lose like more than 40, 50 pounds. It's going to be focused on total body workouts and 3 to 4 days a week. Now, I am a big believer that when you actually want to transform your body, when you're getting into that detail work, like let's say we get you down to 14, 15, 16% body fat, and anywhere under the 20, and we really want to start tweaking areas. You want to see, the traps start to get a little bigger, chest start to pop, whatever. And there goes the kids. Then, yeah, we're going to get into, 4 days a week, maybe 5 days a week, depending on your goals and stuff. We're going to start doing splits, that sort of stuff, right? But for the most part, guys, it'll be total body workouts. And what does that mean? That means you're doing your legs, your back, your shoulders, pretty much in a workout. You're going to do maybe a little bit of core stuff, but I don't have you do too much. Maybe a little bit of arms there just because, guys tend to like that. But again, not too much. We're really going to focus on those bigger muscle groups and bigger movements. That's going to be what we're going to be primarily focusing on. That's one of the first mistakes I see a lot of people do when they're trying to lose a lot of weight. They do all these small little isolation. Hold on one second. Damon, I'm doing a video, bud.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
So they do all these. Let's just close that. So they do all these small little isolation exercises, and they're doing things that just they don't have the body moving much. They're doing a lot of things where they're sitting or lying down. I'm just like, no. We got to do big movements, and we got to push it hard. And so that's what I'm going to tell you as far as the weight training goes, okay? So if you want to lose fat and you want to build and maintain your muscle, then do big compound movements primarily as most of your exercise. I'd say 80% of your workout is going to be that. 20% can be some isolation stuff. So that's the weight training side. And again, we're going to use progressive overload. We're going to be tracking our weights, tracking our numbers, all that sort of stuff. Deadlifts, squats, using a lot of machines, particularly machines, especially for newbies, are great. But machines that have you doing big exercise, or like Smith machines, leg presses. I don't use a lot of this. I won't put them on like a bicep curl machine, stuff like that. I get them using the bigger machines. So if you have any more questions about the weight training side, feel free to, wherever you're watching this, if you're watching this, because there's two places that this gets posted, by the way. This goes straight to my Barbells To Buddhas podcast. And it also goes onto my YouTube channel and Facebook. So obviously, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, you can ask questions in the comments, and I'm more than happy to answer them. If you're listening on a podcast, I should say on Spotify, Apple, whatever. I guess there's not much you can do because there's no commenting there. So that's that. Next, let's move on to probably the next most important thing that I talked to them about, and that is non-exercise activity thermogenesis. That is making sure that the first thing I always ask them is how many steps are you getting in a day? And most people, there's a good majority, it's either going to be they don't know because they're not tracking, or they are getting a low number of steps. So one of the first things I do, and I have a tracking watch myself, is I'm always tracking my steps. I track them all the time, and it's so easy. This is not like tracking calories, guys. You just wear it, and it does the work for you. And you can set a timer. There's usually a little thing on it, not a timer, but a little thing that dings to let you know you hit 10,000. There, you're good. And I'm not saying 10,000 is the magic number. If the other day I had a client that was like 3,500 steps. So I said, hey, we're going to make sure that we're going to try to bring it up to, let's do 4,500 and let's do 5,500. Let's try to go up by maybe 20% every week. So we don't want to go crazy because, you have clients sometimes they get a little excited. And that's why even in my 21-day kickstarts, I don't set a step. It's customized for you too. I don't just give everybody a blanket statements. What I'll do is I'll say, hey, how many steps are you tracking? If they don't know, we have them track a little bit before it starts. And then we decide on a number. It's usually about 20% increase. And so I just don't say everybody do 10,000 because there may be a guy that's already doing 9. And for him, 10 is not a big deal. But another guy might be doing 3, and if I'm doing 10, it's just going to be bad knees, bad back. He's going to be sore. He's going to be a mess. But getting in more movement throughout your day is such a key. In fact, NEAT can be up to 30% of your daily caloric burn. And even the most intense training exercise, guys, is like 5%, 3%. Maybe if you're really going 7 days a week, an hour, and you're just crushing it, maybe 7%. It's not very high. In fact, the calories you burn just from eating food, particularly protein foods, which we're not going to talk about in this because this is only about exercise, those burn more calories than your workout program. So, but like I said before, your workout program, the weight training program, the workout program, when you go in the gym, is all about building and maintaining muscle and strength because we want to keep that while we burn fat because that's how you transform your body. That's how you get that jacked, ripped, big, swole, whatever you want to call it. Look, that is how you look like. You look like you work out. It's weight training. So we're going to aim for steps, right? And we're going to aim for, on average, I say, we want to be doing at least, when we look at the, longevity studies, it's about 7,000 steps a day seems to be kind of that magic number. Everything above that, it doesn't show a lot. I think it's maybe up to 10,000 shows some really significant increases. After that, it's diminishing returns. And I'm not saying not to do more than that if you want to. It's great. I probably average 13 steps, 12 to 13 a day, a little bit less now. But usually it's definitely above 10. But again, as long as I hit my 10, I usually congratulate myself. Now, obviously, and again, guys, this is like a thing. This is not just a stagnant number where you just say, okay, that's the rule for the rest of your life. No. When I have clients and we're consistently, say, hitting our 7 or 10 or whatever the number we decide is kind of our upper limit, I will then say, okay, let's try to make 20% of those faster steps. Let's try to make sure, like, okay, 2,000 steps a day is about a 20-minute walk. I'd like you to do a speed walk. So now we start getting into that cardio realm. Now, do you have to do cardio, like going out for runs, jogs, jump rope, ellipticals, whatever you want to call it? Something that's faster than your typical walk to the store. The answer is no, and the answer is a very big yes. I'm going to say this. No, you don't need to, but then you have to have your calories so dialed in that it's annoying. You have to be at that annoying level of calorie counting. And that's just not a lot of fun. So I say, you know what? If you can do some cardio, it makes a huge change. Like, you'll see bodybuilders, anybody, fitness models, anybody who really wants to get in great shape, guys, what do? They start doing cardio. They start doing different kinds of stuff. Some the more high intensity, some will do lower intensity for longer times. But most people who really get down to that very lean level are doing some sort of cardio on a very consistent basis. There's a girl at my gym. Every day I see her. She's on the Stepmaster for I don't know how long. The step machine, there's actually the stairs change. I mean, she's ripped up, right? She looks good. And she's doing her cardio. So you'll meet very few people who don't do cardio, who are just ripped and in very good shape all the time. Because it does burn more calories and it helps. So saying that, it's extremely good for your heart and cardiovascular system. In fact, a lower VO2 max, which is basically a measure of just how well your body utilizes oxygen, is the number one gold standard for basically an assessment of how long you're going to live. So again, don't necessarily, when you're going to do cardio, you don't just think to yourself, well, I'm only doing this to burn fat. No, do it for your heart, do it for your brains, do it for your lungs, do it for your body, do it for your life. But it does help you burn some calories. And I suggest about a 30 minute, when I'm trying to get in really good shape, it's going to be a 30-minute walk quite a few days of the week. Now, right over to my left side here, I have a treadmill. Now, I've never really owned a treadmill until a couple of years ago. And to be honest, I was kind of against it. I said to the wife, I'm like, you want to go outside? Go outside. But guys, Vancouver's a miserable, gray, rainy, terrible place most of the year. And I know they all hated on David Duchovny when he said that, but it's true. And if you live here and you're yelling at me, you haven't lived anywhere else, then apparently. I've lived in Hong Kong, I've lived in Jakarta, I've lived in Bangkok, I've lived in Manila, I've lived in Singapore, I've lived around the world. Vancouver is not, it's beautiful when it's nice out, but it's not nice a lot. It's gray, it's crappy a lot, kind of depressing most of the time. I mean, I got a sad lamp right here. I got a sunrise lamp in my bedroom to wake me up. I had to install lights all over the house because this place is just so dark all the time. Well, I don't even know where I was going on in that rant. But, treadmill, yes. So, got a treadmill, and I mean, it helps a lot. It really helps. Like, also, after a few weeks of using it, the wife will say, wow, your body changes. She's like, wow, your body's really changing. I'm like, yeah, it's just from the treadmill. And I'm not going crazy, guys. I don't even, the one I got over here, just because my ceiling isn't that high, I just maybe put on about an incline of 4 to 5, and I just do kind of a speed walk. I do like a 5x5, I call it. I load it up to 5 incline, and I do a speed of 5 to 5.5, depending on the mood I'm in that day. And that's for 30 minutes. And I do that maybe 3 days a week. And it really does help. And now on nicer days, I will go outside. But is cardio going to help you? Yes. I would aim for, like I said, 7,000 to 10,000 steps. Really want to get lean, I would aim for 30-minute good power walks a few days a week. For your heart and lungs, throw in some high-intensity cardio, but you don't have to do that for body transformation. So you notice I never really said that. We didn't really talk about that a lot. For VO2 max, for longevity, for health, for total, male human optimization, yes. There we go. It's more screaming from the kids. But as far as body transformation, it's not even really part of my program. So there's that. Yoga I do, but again, it's we can break in. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of, okay, by doing these exercises and increase your mobility. Mobility is going to increase the ranges of motion. Ranges of motion are going to increase, the weight you can move, and forget it. We just go too deep right there. So I'm not going to worry about that either. So no, you don't have to do a bunch of yoga to get in great shape either. In fact, most guys I know that are in really good shape actually pretty crappy mobility. So really, I think that about covers it. When it comes down to it, it's not rocket science. Now, as you start to get leaner and you want to transform certain areas, you can get, you start getting into more body. So it's more push-pull legs, or, dual leg days. Or if you want to, like for me right now, my emphasis is going to be on legs. So I'm actually probably be training legs like 3 days a week. And upper body probably as a secondary, which is going to be like really the first time in my life at 48 that I'm really going to be emphasizing legs. And for me, it's a difficult one because I'm 6'4", and me and leg exercises, they just wipe me out a lot. So for me, it's going to be really playing around with how do I do legs 3 times a week and get the enough volume and enough intensity that it's going to make a change, and I'm not just going through the motions, but at the same time that I can still do it 3 days a week without just feeling crushed and destroyed. So that's going to be interesting for me. So we'll see how that goes. But that's the goal right now anyway. Excuse me. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really don't have a lot more to say about it. Really, that's it. But I do want you to hold on, because before you go, I would love you, if you're interested, to join my exclusive and private Ditch Your Dad Bod and Live Awesome Facebook group. You're all invited. Now, what you're watching or listening to, I do a lot of videos like this and more in that group, and I plan on doing a lot more. So you're going to get a lot more information, and the guys that are in that are going to get a lot more information than you. I do a lot more mini videos and trainings in there too. So I also will do Q&As in there. That is definitely where I host all the teachings that you don't see from my 21-day, Ditch Your Dad Bod Kickstart challenges. I am planning and rocking some contests very soon for anybody in the continental North America. So that should be kind of fun. So if you're not there, you're missing out. Now, to get in there, you have 2 options. Next time you're on Facebook, or if you're watching this right now on Facebook, because this is a live, just search these words. Go to that little magnifying glass there at the top and search Ditch Your Dad Bod and Live Awesome. Or if you're watching this, post in the comments. Actually, if you're watching this, I should say in the comments, in the Facebook, I will post a link straight to the group. But honestly, if you're listening to this on a podcast, you're watching this on YouTube, if you go to the show notes, you are going to see a link to that group as well. So that's the easiest way, is letting me put in the link and you guys just click it. That way you don't even have to search it. Either way, I hope that you will join me, or I should say, I hope that you will join us. And of course, until next time, I am here to do what? Well, as always, guys, help you live leaner, stronger, longer, hopefully. And I can guarantee you, though, that you can definitely be living better for that longer. All right? Talk to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.